For the last 10 days, I've been building the DnD world I play in, and this is what it became. On day 1, we started with a huge square. Then I marked out where the mountain would be. After that, I began shaping the island, adding more forms around the beach to make it look more organic. Then I tried working on the mountain, but honestly, it didn't go that well. It's my first time using Corel Edit and my first time building a mountain. Then I added grass. It's a tropical island after all. It has to feel alive. After that, I started fixing the beaches, trying to make the transition between sand and grass look natural, adjusting the height, smoothing everything out. No random bumps. It has to feel real. To help the transition, I added some rocks in rough areas. Then I built the first dock, which will be important later, and added a second one. You will see later why. After that, I added paths connecting the main locations, like the tavern and the hospital. Finally, I made two house designs and copied them around the island. And that was day 1. I started by building a giant palm tree in the center of the island of day 2, but there was one problem. The leaves kept disappearing, so I just gave up on it, for now. Then I moved on the tower, and that came with its own problems. I built the shape and the roof first, and it actually looked pretty good. But the reference I was using had a straw roof, so I tried adding hay bales, and yeah, it looked way too chunky, too heavy, completely out of place, so I had to remove it. But when I did, I ended up with a huge holes in the roof, so I had to rebuild the entire thing. After fixing it, I started adding wooden supports across the roof. It added a lot more detail and made the wall build stand out. But in the center of the roof, I couldn't add those supports, so I did something else. I added a small structure on top, right next to the chimney. You can't even reach it from the inside, so it kind of makes you wonder, what's up there? After that, I fixed some small details around the build. And then I went back to the palm trees. This time I figured out the problem. I just had to turn off the tick speed of the world. So I started building them. But I couldn't just copy paste everything, because it would copy a huge chunk of air blocks too. So I copied only the trunks and made the leaves by hand. And yeah, that was day 2. On day 3, I started by adding more details to the dock, supports to hold the structure, railings, small details to make it feel real. I also practicing copy paste a lot here, and finally I actually got used to it. Then I moved on to the one of the most important buildings, the hospital. At first I made the walls completely flat, but it didn't look right, so I pushed them one block back to give the building more depth. After that, I started working on the roof layout, just figuring out the shape. Then I had to fix a really important detail. This window, it was broken, so I had to patch it up. While building the roof, I realized something. You can't properly place swaps with commands. You can't control the height, which is kind of annoying. But I kept going. finishing the base of the building. Then I added this window on the roof, and this one is actually really important for the story. After that I added more details, trying to make the building feel alive. I added a flag, which is way harder to build than it looks. And on the side, I added something that wasn't even in the original plan, a small extension leading to the basement, which might be important later. And yeah, that was day 3. On day 4 I started fixing the beaches, smoothing everything out, making them look more natural. Then I started working on one of the most important places in the world, Marwa's underground fight club. I began by digging out the basement. The stairs were a bit tricky, but then I used World Edit. Boom, perfect. This is where the fight happens. I used quartz for the base, then added wood, but it was too tall, so I had to lower it. Then I tried adding 3 ropes, still too tall. Yeah, this part took a while to fix. Then I added lights, because we actually need to see the fights, and tables for the spectators. I also added a small entrance for the fighters, and a separate training room, only for Marwa's champions. Punching bags, a waiting bench. I tried a few designs, but this one felt the most natural. Then I added the baiting area with a chest and an NPC. At first I tried using gold. Bad idea. Gold is extremely rare in the world, so I switched to silver and bronze. Then I added barrels, a lot of barrels, and small signs of the beds. Since this is underground, I added cracks in the walls, exposed stone, and even some rotten wood, because it's damp down here. Then I added paintings to bring some color into the place. I added vases, flowers, small details to make it feel alive. And yeah, I spent way too long looking for one flower. And the floor, it's darker for a reason. People drink here, people fight here. It's not supposed to be clean. And finally, the bell. And this is the final result. 2 ropes, a proper arena, and a place where things can go very wrong. And yeah, that was day 4. Day 5. Today I built the wrecked ship of Capitan Slit. The build itself wasn't too complicated, just a broken ship on the shore, but I also added a small camp next to it, to show that someone is still living there, because this place isn't abandoned. And there's a chest, no one knows what's inside. It's simple, but it adds a lot to the world. And yeah, that was day 5. On day 6, I started by adding a big building in the center. I still have no idea what it's supposed to be, but it looks good, so maybe that's enough. Then I built the village well, which is kind of necessary. After that I added more greenery, bamboo, bushes, just to make everything feel more alive. And yeah, the island is slowly starting to come together. That was day 6. Day 7. This is the ship our party used to travel between islands. The build itself wasn't too hard, except for one thing, the sails. Yeah, I struggled with those for a while, so in the end, I just folded them. The ship is docked anyway, it's not going anywhere. Then I cleaned up the base of the ship, making everything feel more solid. And then I started decorating the inside. Starting with the lower deck. First, the prison. Then I laid out the rooms. At first I used red beds. No, we're pirates. These are hammocks. Then I built the kitchen, tables, chairs, and a place for the cooks. Then the armory, which only has swords. A lot of swords. I added barrels, more barrels, because pirates. This ship is used for transporting goods between islands, so I added supplies, melons, wood, crates, even hay for making bread. A bell to gather the crew, more cargo, and small details everywhere. Then I built the wheel. I had no idea what I was doing, but it works. I even added fences, safety first, even if we are pirates. Then I decorated the captain's cabin. I added a map of the island, which took way longer than it should have. I added bookshelves, but let's be honest, pirates don't really read. Some paintings, a red carpet because this is the captain's room. And finally I decorated the dock to make it look like we're unloading cargo. And yeah, this is our ship. And basically that was for day 7. Day 8, I started by building the second dock, Hangman's Dock. Everyone hates going there, because you always leave missing something, money, information, or even your sanity. I used soul lanterns to give that creepy vibe, which is kind of hard to do in Minecraft. After that I started finishing parts of the island, adding more trees, palms, small houses, just to make everything feel complete. Then I worked a bit more on the hospital area, adding a table, chairs, barrels, fixing the path. The idea was to make the hospital feel mysterious, so I added a lot of bushes to hide things. And the house across the hospital, I feel bad for whoever lives there. I also added another path, but this one is more overgrown, less welcoming. More trees, more small details, just filling the road. Then I added a path coming down from the main dock, connecting everything together. And I added a small secret in the mountain. Only my character knows what's about it, not even the other players. I'm not showing it. And for the last build of the day, I made a small house with a different design, kind of L-shaped, covered in leaves, blended in the environment, and honestly, I really like how it turned out. The roof especially might be one of my favorites so far. And yeah, that was day 8. Day 9. Almost done. Today I built this house. Simple, but it fits perfectly with the island. Then I added a few more details around the island. Just small things to make everything feel complete. At this point, the world actually feels alive. And day 10. I didn't build anything. I edited this video instead. This is my first time editing and doing voiceovers, and I had to get used to talking to myself. So, here are some of moments that I didn't make it. Forms around the beach, you will see why later. Completely out of place. So I had to remove the center of the roof. I couldn't copy it, only the trunks. Just figuring out the shape. Look a bit more natural and realistic. Where I shall put my walls, lights into the walls, so I can have more place to work with of every fight. Here I made holes in the walls So, and yeah, that's the video. Wait, did you actually think that was the end? Come on, this is day 10. So for the final day, I decided to build something different, a flower shop. It's a bit unusual for this island, but it actually fits better than I expected. The build itself was pretty complex, especially the roof. Not gonna lie, I think I did a pretty good job. I mainly wanted to finish this part of the island, make it feel complete. There's no way I can build the entire island in just 10 days, not even close. I will probably need at least 10 more, but this is what I built in 10 days. And this is just the beginning, because this world has a story, and I'm gonna tell it in the next video. If you liked the video, consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.